So Kevin Porter Jr. as of late has been playing absolutely out of his mind. He hasn't been playing up to the expectation people were having of him this season, but in the last few games, he's actually been proving to be one of our better players on the roster. And today we're going to be breaking down Kevin Porter Jr. and why he's been good as of late, and breaking down his game, talking about his highs and lows, and overall where I see him in the future moving on with the Houston Rockets. But before I get into the video, I'd appreciate you guys drop a like and press the sub button. We're going to go back grinding daily. I think by the time you guys see this, I will be in school, because I'm going to be pre-recording this the day before Monday. So yeah, going to be a pretty early video for Tuesday. Yeah, I don't know, it's going to be pretty early. So if you liked the video, drop a like, press the sub button, I'd appreciate it. But getting back into the video, yeah, Kevin Porter Jr., he's been, playing great in the last few games, especially in the last 9 games. He's been averaging 15 points per game, 7 assists, 4 rebounds on 44 from the field and 37 from 3. Great overall stats. Shooting splits, they still are a tad low. 44 from the field isn't that great, but, that 37% from 3 is definitely a huge sign to see, especially, he is shooting 34% from 3 over the season and 38 from the field. So I just really want to talk about KPJ, because in this game against the Golden State Warriors, where we did lose 122-108, he was one of our better players alongside Christian Wood. I definitely will make a Christian Wood video, solely about him, probably after the trade deadline if the Rockets don't trade him. Obviously, if they do trade him before the trade deadline, then, a video is going to be coming out. But as of right now, if he doesn't get traded, there's going to be a Christian Wood video coming soon, because he's been killing it over in the last 10 games too. But getting back to KPJ, this game especially, in the first quarter, he did have 7 assists. Now, I think he had 7 assists and 0 turnovers in the first with 0 points, which is honestly great for him in his development as being a point guard, because, 7 assists with no turnovers, it's a huge sign to see. It just means that he can pass the ball without, obviously turning over the ball. But he did finish with 5 turnovers today, which isn't all that bad, with 11 assists. The point here is that KPJ, he's getting better as a playmaker overall, and someone that can, handle the ball, run the offense, and overall just is becoming a better playmaker at the point guard position. So the second thing I want to talk about for KPJ is his improved defense. I think over in the last 3 games, he's been one of our better defenders. I think, in the last game against Golden State was Friday, January 21st. He had 4 steals, pretty great overall. This game, he had no blocks or steals, but he still was guarding Stephen Curry pretty well. Obviously Curry dropped 49, I want to say. I'm not too sure the stat line what Curry had, but KPJ for the most part played pretty great on-ball defense for Steph Curry. Obviously the Rockets aren't a great defense. I think they're one of the worst defensive teams in the league, but KPJ was definitely holding his own against Steph Curry today, and he's been showing some flashes of being a great two-way player, and I think he can be a great two-way player. He really is someone that can, fit the pieces together for his game. It really is just a matter of when. And I think it's going to be pretty soon. He's already proven to be a great playmaker, someone that can score the ball pretty decently, and overall can play pretty great defense overall too. The third thing I want to talk about today is KPJ's improved efficiency. Now, over the season, he's averaging 38 from the field, and in the last 10 games, he's been averaging 44% from the field. So, huge jump in the last 10 games for KPJ. He definitely has been inefficient. The start of the season, he was pretty inefficient, but now looking back at the last 10 games, he's been pretty much killing it from the field. Same thing from 3, 37 from 3. Comparing it to his regular season stats, 34 from 3. Definitely a huge jump from there. And, his real weakness from shooting is really just free throw. He's been very off from 3, 64 from the free throw line over the season, and 73 from the last 10 games, but he isn't really known to be a free throw shooter in those last, couple seasons. Last season, 73 from the free throw, and then, in Cleveland, 72%. So that really is his only weakness, is free throw shooting and efficiency. But overall, his game is, still pretty complete. And overall, he's averaging a steal a game, which is also something pretty interesting to see. Someone that can, play some great defense overall, like I said before. But getting back into some other points, he's finding his rhythm overall. I think the game is finally coming naturally to him. If we're looking at, previous games and this game especially, it's looking like he's finally getting back into, the groove of things, finally finding his rhythm. And overall, he looks pretty comfortable playing the point guard position now, especially, with Christian Wood back in the lineup, pick and roll offense with him and Christian Wood. But overall, he finally looks like he's pretty much comfortable playing the point guard position. Now, it isn't really that consistent. But he has been pretty consistent these last 10 games, so I won't really take it for granted. But overall, he's been looking like he's been pretty comfortable overall. And finally, one negative about his game, turnovers are still a huge thing overall. He is averaging 4 turnovers, over the season, which is definitely his second worst thing about his game, is that he turns over the ball a lot. And when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, off ball, he isn't really that much of a threat. He really needs the ball in his hands to really do damage. But overall, I think, lowering his turnover rate is definitely possible. Last 10 games, he's only been averaging 3 turnovers, basically 1 turnover less overall from his season averages. But yeah, turnovers, definitely a huge issue. Free throw percentage, definitely an issue. But that really is it for KPJ in terms of his negatives. KPJ has a really high ceiling, someone that can probably be a great two-way player. We haven't really seen that much of him yet, because he is obviously having a down year. He is 21 years old, first year running the primary point guard position, but I think he can run the point guard and be our future point guard moving on, alongside Jalen Green, because I think him and Jalen Green are going to be a really great backcourt duo. But that's really the end of the video. Kevin Porter Jr. has been pretty much impressing a lot of people over, the last 10 games, but definitely having an off year in terms of his expectations, because I think I had him in one of my top 5 candidates for the MIP this year, and he definitely isn't, but he is showing some flashes of being, a great player in the future. But hopefully we can get back on track soon. I think we versed... What team did we verse? The schedule, yeah, we did lose. We're on a losing streak, I think, but we do verse the, Cleveland Cavaliers on Wednesday. Kevin Porter Jr. finally back in Cleveland since, I want to say, he got traded. So yeah, gonna be a great game overall. Darius Garland versus KPJ. But that's the video. I'm JDC, and my peace.